frustrated that it's not traditionally historical. Right.
She doesn't go much into the history except to talk about the ancestors, and she doesn't really,
Know any? She doesn't really know any ancestors. Yeah.
No. And she doesn't really tell us where she comes from with all of it, except that little tiny bit in the very first, in the
Well,
introduction or forward. That's the only place she talks about herself, how she learned.
right. Right. And then in the back of the book, it's about the author. She says she's a veteran root worker and a traditional conjure woman. Has been helping people for over 35 years through her ancestral art of old style conjure. She is one of the preeminent modern masters of the Southern African style of folk magic. And she maintains an active teaching schedule. Stars also among the organizers of the annual New Orleans Folk Magic Festival. Sound it out, sweetheart. I don't know. I mean, she kind of reminds me of one of the ladies here in town. But I just don't understand, like, me. I just don't understand. Okay, so we went into what? Were they again? Sorry.
What's hidden?
My,
Page
yeah, what's hidden?
195.
Yeah, 190. Mine's on 194.
Oh, okay.
So in this chapter, she talks about. Well, I'm still on this little thing. In this chapter, she talks a little bit about picking out the different things that she noticed her family members doing, like without knowing why she was doing them. So she noticed that there were certain ways you had to sweep. There were certain, her mom or her grandma. I think it was, I don't know. It was one of either her mom or her grandmother. Would stitch 3 times in the beginning and then stitch 3 times at the ends is something that she learned. That they did on a regular basis. Uh, in spell work.
But you know something? When I'm sewing by hand,
Huh?
I take 3 stitches at the first that loops over into a knot when I'm sewing by hand,
Mhm.
and I finish up with 3 stitches that way.
I think everybody does actually. This is the only way to make sure your knot stays.
Yeah, so I don't
So
understand why that's such a big deal in Conjure when other peoples have done it.
yeah, everybody does it. But she says that the 3 knots represent the Holy Trinity, the God the Father, the God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And she found out that it's a way to tie the spells in or something like that when you do it with your mojo bags. Um, but everybody, like, when I tie my thread in the beginning, I take my loop and I wrap it around my hand like 3 times before I
Mm-hmm.
put it through and I go through it. Threes have been universal regardless. Doesn't matter which tradition you're in. We know that in history, the Trinity or the Mother, Maiden, and Crone were absorbed into masculinity, which
Mm-hmm.
became Father, Son, and Ghost. Um, I think it's interesting that it's split up that way. So, like, Ghost is your spirit, but then they tell you that the people don't believe in spirit, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. uh, yeah. So she talks here a lot about just the different things she noticed her family members doing. And then as she grew older, she started to realize why. So, like, when she's sweeping, she's talking about not going like this, but to go straight to get things out. She says if you go like this, you're just stirring up the pot. And I'm like, stirring, it kind of looks like this. But um generally when you, well, I guess if it doesn't really matter, like if you're standing sweeping and you're going like this, you're sweeping, right? Who the fuck sweeps like this? And if you turn this way, aren't you still sweeping in a?
But you're just going one direction. You're not sweeping it back and forth.
Oh,
You're just going one direction with it.
Okay, so you
You're
sweep
sweeping
like
it
this,
out.
and then you pick it up and come back, and sweep
Mhm.
like this again. Oh, that seems like so much work. Like, I don't know if I could stop myself in the process. For me, sweeping, if I'm going with a broom and I'm sweeping like this, or I'm sweeping things together like this, okay, then I am still moving things out of an area. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like sweeping is a full thing. It's not just like a one direction thing. She says if you, oh, she also says not to sweep the floor of behind people that you like to come over your house, or you'll sweep them out of your life. And I was like, that's an interesting theory. um, if it was that easy, right? Just to sweep people out of your life. She says, I learned later on in life why not to do it. My mama just taught us not to do it. She never explained why. My grandmother is the one that taught me how to really sweep with a broom. She was tough as nails, and I got switched a few times on my legs for not sweeping the yard right. And I finally got it after a few switchings. Could you just imagine? Like, you're out there performing it wrong, so you get swatted with a piece of tree branch. That's not fun.
Nope.
She says you had to sweep in long strokes going forward. You should never sweep back and forth with a broom. Again, I didn't learn why until I was much older. Okay. Sweeping back and forth just stirs up the mess and doesn't move anything out, but sweeping forward in long strokes, you are moving things away from you. I surely didn't ask her why I had to sweep that way. What other ones did she pick up on? Let's see. Turpentine.
Mhm.
Isn't that poisonous?
It's not good for you. Except
She
I
says
guess
in here
when you
that
mix
she
it with sugar, it kills the worms.
hold on a second. What's up? uh, effects
My
of
mom
turkey.
says that Granny always gave them castor oil.
Well, that's at least safer.
Yeah.
And castor oil will give you the shit too. The shits too. Effects of turpentine on people. Look at this. Okay. All right. If your mom was giving you turpentine, you should have been in foster care. Because, whoa. She says, when I was a child, every year we had to take a dose of turpentine and sugar to kill the worms. Wormwood, maybe, or another plant would have been way better. Okay, so the effects of turpentine on people. First off, turpentine is a fluid obtained by distillation of resin harvested from living trees, mainly pines. Many use a specialized solvent. It is also a source of mineral or organic synthesis. Okay, it is a chemical. It does come from from trees, but it's first off, it's refined. It causes respiratory problems at low levels of exposures to turpentine defined by Occupational Safety and Health Administrations as 75 parts per million. People begin to experience irritation to the nose and the throat. They have irritation of the eyes from the vapors. They have skin irritations and redness and pain around the areas that touch turpentine for your skin. If you drink it, you will have serious side effects through the digestive system. They can also experience blood or pure protein in the urine as well as painful urination. So, the health dangers and risks associated with this practice. Turpentine is a toxic substance that can cause great harm to an individual's health, particularly when it comes to their lungs. This is because breathing in the fumes from products containing the substance can cause direct damage, both short-term and lasting to the lungs. Turpentine, unfortunately, is a common additive in different resins, inks, paints, and similar products. It's also commonly used as a paint thinner to remove paint because that's something you want to put in your body. So to
Mhm.
your lungs, right? To your lungs, it can cause fluid, heart problems caused by excessive fluid, um, heart attacks, wheezing, coughing, reduction in oxygen. Your skin can become cold and your lips can turn blue. You can get ridiculously large headaches from this, and coughing and wheezing, bronchitis. Oh, and lung cancer. Now let's see. Oh, and convulsions, because seizures are pretty good too. And lung damage, and you can damage your kidneys and your ureters. You can get nausea and vomiting, because I guess that's how you get rid of the worms, right? Is you throw them up.
Mhm.
You can vomit blood. Um,
Or you expel them the other way.
or that, yeah. Severe abdominal pain, dehydration. So, like, it's just not a good idea to drink turpentine. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. Like, she seriously should have had someone look at her when she was a child. A turpentine. And then, is that a real thing? People, like, really drank that shit?
Yes.
It's supposed to kill the worms, she says. She says, I hated this stuff, but Mama dosed us faithfully every year with it. She didn't hide why we had to take it. We knew it was exactly what it was for. She also cleaned her shoes with it.
Mhm.
It's just, no. This seems terrifying. Like, why would you want to take things like that are notably horrible for your health? It's like the opposite of everything I believe in.
Like they cleaned their shoes with it because they thought the worms got into you through the bottom of your feet.
That's like Chinese medicine in the wind. The cold. If the cold gets you, you're gonna get sick. That's what they say.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just, and then I had somebody ask me about mothballs the other day. Now I'm not well versed in hoodoo and different weird practices like this, but like now after reading this, I totally understand what the lady was talking about. She's like, "Is there this thing called mothball magic?" And I was like, "I don't know," because mothballs are for like mice and shit traditionally. But here it is right here on page 197,
Okay.
probably 196 for you. She goes, I wanted to share one more little tidbit before I move on. Lots of folks throw mothballs under their house and in their yards. will say it's to keep snakes away or just something they were taught. It's for mice. It's not for snakes. They don't eat them. They can't even see them. so, so and they smell with their mouth, not their noses. um, she says, "Did you know that mothballs will cut jinxes and conditions thrown in your yard? They should be buried in the four corners of your property, the four corners of your house." No, okay. What is with this culture and toxic chemicals? Like, I am not going to stick a mothball in my ground. I went over to see my neighbor today, and my neighbor's over there spraying Roundup all over his ground. And I'm like, fuck. Now I have to make sure that all the trees I put along this fence line are totally ornamental, and I can't put any food here because you're a jerk. But, you know what I mean? So now I have to have at least 5 feet away from that fence to make sure that there isn't anything there. But what is the deal with all of the chemicals? Is it just the idea that they're toxic that like intrigues them in their very direct, painful way? Because it seems like everything they do is, what do you call that word? Retaliation. Like, I feel like it's all retaliation. Like, I don't see much of anything and like it's like this big. The amount of stuff that you do for manifestation on anything else is this big. Everything else is, how do I fuck that bitch up today?
Yeah,
And
I noticed that.
I'm like, damn, that's horrible. And then they say Satanists are bad, and I was like, have you even read the Satanic Bible? Why don't you put the Hoodoo book and the Satanic Bible together, and you tell me which one you would prefer to be part of? Like, what the fuck? So it's just, I don't get it, man. This is so, mothballs not doing it. But they say that you should bury them because it keeps people from sending spells on your property or home or to your home. But then again, so does a witch's jar, and that's much cleaner and less volatile.
Yeah.
But it still packs a punch. Works just as good without all the chemicals. Okay. She says, this is more hidden conjure that folks don't really realize they're working. They simply do it because that's what they were taught to do. So basically what she's telling us here in this chapter is that people are pretty much copying what they were taught. It's like passing things down from generation to generation to generation. Of course, you're going to get a wild hair in the generation that goes, no, I'm not using this anymore. I'm going to change this, because that's just life and evolution. But so toxic. She says here on page 198, the Old Testament and the little things children are taught to do, all of this comes from ancestors. They were treated as slaves and had no rights. Everything that they did had to be hidden, even their emotions. That's why Southern folks don't usually act out in public. Really? I'm so sorry. That is a very false statement. That is an incredibly false statement right there. I don't. Did she do any research before she wrote this book? I don't think so.
But she says she grew up this way.
But maybe her family didn't act out. But, like, There's a lot of noise down here.
I lived in Georgia when I was a kid for a little while.
Mhm.
And those people acted out. They showed their emotions in public.
Mhm. Right? I mean, and then there wasn't really a lot of magic talk at all during that
Mm-mm.
entire time. It was slavery working and then war to break up slavery. um what did she say, Sarah? She goes, to find them, you got to know someone who knows someone until you reach them. I was determined not to lose this tree. What is this tree she's talking about at the end of page 198 or 197
Okay.
for you?
Um,
It seems
when
like it's a
Hurricane Rita
person.
hit Texas, she destroyed one of our large pecan trees and damaged the other one. I thought we were going to lose it too. And that's where she went on. Folks who treat trees don't advertise. You won't find them in the yellow pages like old workers. To find them, you've got to know someone who knows someone until you reach them.
So it's a
So she was
person who
trying to
knows how.
save her second pecan tree.
She's trying to save it,
She was trying to save it.
and so she's
Trying to
looking for
find someone
somebody
who could
who.
save
Right. Okay. Um. But today you can just go on YouTube and look that shit up.
it.
I mean, and what year was this book written?
21?
In 2021 it was written?
I think so. Let me double check.
If it was written in 2021, why on earth
17. I'm sorry.
2017?
2017.
You still
2017,
have the
yes.
internet.
Oh, yeah.
So
You knew all that good stuff.
know somebody to know somebody is irrelevant in the time frame for which she wrote this book.
Yes.
Dude, I wonder how many people have like went through this book and looked at it the same way. Like, I know there was a lot of people who are like, "Oh, this is crap," but like logically, if you needed to save a plant, you could go on any number of groups, on any number of YouTube videos, and find that information without knowing that human.
Yes.
Because YouTube's been around since before 2017. So, and it's been pretty full for some time. It took over MTV for like the first uh, little bit. Like MTV went to like talk shows and fucking and reality TV, and YouTube was the new place to find music, and then YouTube mutated into what it is today. So there's no way that that is a statement that's even feasible at this point. Nobody's going to go looking for a human that they know because someone told them. You'll just go online and fucking find it out. It's just the way it is. Okay, so then he did a practice for her. So it's almost like she looked for a priest guy or a magic guy that works on trees.
Basically.
She said all he had was a big hammer and iron spikes. So we're nailing it down, okay? He nailed 3 nails on the outer shadow and then 3 around the base of the tree and then 1 in the tree. Okay, if you're trying to save a tree, common sense says don't damage it. Because if I wanted, oh man, I can't get my head around this one. Just can't do it. Because if you put a stake in the ground and you hit a root, what's going to happen? The root's going to die. And then whatever part of the tree is connected to that particular root is going to die.
But in Conjure, what she says in here is that he was nailing the spirit of the tree down so it couldn't leave the tree.
While killing it at the same time.
If your tree needs iron, you bury iron tablets around it.
Yes, you don't stab it in the middle of the tree trunk with a fucking railroad stake.
No.
I don't think that's going to be very good for the tree. I don't, I don't know. I don't, this is not a good book for me. All right, so then we've got, she goes into a little bit of the I can see clearly thing. I had to skip past the Bible verse. And she's basically, it's this really short little tiny chapter that talks a little bit about watching her mom do stuff that she couldn't understand. And as she got older, she began to understand. And that's pretty much it in there. She talks about how her mom used to stare at a glass, and then that you could use Prophet Daniel to find whatever's missing, because he's apparently the guy to go to when you lose shit. Me personally, I'm gonna have a talk with the fairies and be like, "What the fuck? Put my shit back."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then she has this water jog that she has again. Remember, she keeps like doing long periods of water. She's like, don't let the water dry up. Just leave it sitting there, and then add more and stir it up. She says this is the old school way of reading. Reading what? What are
But
we
don't
reading?
forget to put that bluing in there. That's a nice chemical you put in there.
Mm-hmm. Right, but what is she reading? The flow of the water?
She's fine.
In a clear glass?
But it's got the bluing in it to make everything clear to the viewer.
Okay. So it's not a reading, it's scrying. Okay. Don't we usually use black mirrors or black bowls for that? Or things like obsidian mirror image stuff? Drawing and removing.
Here,
So
she
these are
says
things.
down here, when there's something hidden in the dark that you just can't put your finger on, get a jar or a glass of water. So
Put a few drops of the
for
blue
something
in
that's
the
hidden
water.
in the dark that you can't put your finger on, that you just can't quite see, that's what you do. And then you petition God and the prophet Daniel to help you find the answer you're looking for.
Is she hoping that it comes to her in the water?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. I know that is scrying, but that's not African.
No, it's not.
Well, that's not African at all. And we usually use it in a black mirror or in a bowl or with water, like a black bowl with water in it, or in obsidian or something reflective. It's usually black so that you could see. And then there's crystal balls. There's those too. But that's way, way different culture than this. So then she goes into drawing and removing, and this is a chapter about bringing things to you and getting rid of things that are on you or sent to you. She also talks about hot footing in here. She says that it's super important to only use it as a last resort to remove somebody. And then she has, where was it? I'm just going to start like putting something in my book where I can just go right to it. I think she talks a little bit about returning stuff too. That's after the love yourself stuff, the love yourself power work. I think it comes in reversal work on page 207. Now, I think her reversal work is interesting. She says a reversal is a set of conjure works that removes whatever condition is on the person and returns it back to the sender. Okay, I don't think that reversal work started in Conjure. I think that that's something that was also adopted. She says, I think there's a common misconception about reversal work. Some folks think you do reversal work, You are crossing the person up. Yes, you are.
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
she says here that it's absolutely not true. It is true. If someone sends you bad magic and you say, "Oh, I caught it and I threw it back at you," guess what? They're getting crossed up because they sent it out. They now have to now eat it. It's like that's just the way it goes. So technically, you are crossing them up with their own bullshit.
Yes, but she said if they get knocked on their ass, that's all on them. You are only taking off what they have sent to you.
Yeah. Mm. My gallon of water today. Please
My
excuse my lack of
cup.
cup.
This is my 430-ounce cup of water.
I was watching TikTok one time and this lady like brings in a cup of water. She's talking about something completely different. She grabs her water, she sets it on the table, she grabs a freaking metal straw and just poop and just starts drinking. Like everybody's like, did she just because you can hit the center of this with a straw and it'll go right through it. And I didn't know that. I was like, she seriously just made a gallon, a whole freaking Slurpee cup. I thought that was great. I do this all the time. I just take the cap off. I don't have a long enough straw. But it's too funny. She says, we did that one. Okay, this is, you're removing whatever has been sent to you right back to you, like you just said. She says, another misconception is that folks think that cleansing and reversal works are the same work. That's true, actually. People don't realize that cleansing yourself and removing magic are two different things. Because cleansing yourself is going to be cleansing your aura and your space and your mindset and all the crap that you're just carrying around with you. And then reversing the work of somebody. First, you have to be sure that somebody casts magic on you. And that sometimes can be a little bit difficult because sometimes the universe is just going to be the universe and give you a stick in the mud every now and again, and then there's ongoing things that are consistent that highlight that somebody did something. But then here's the trick. Who?
Yeah.
So she says, let me explain. While they both do remove cross conditions, they don't both return the said condition to the sender. Cleansing work does just that. It removes the blocks and other cross conditions that's on a person. Reversal work not only removes the cross condition, but it gives the sender a taste of their own medicine. Duh. We all know that one. She goes, there's a kind of safety clause in reversal work. If the work is justified, then nothing will happen to the person who did the work. Meaning if you deserve the issue you are having through your own actions, then the worker is safe from any reversal work. Okay. I gotta stop for a second. First off, I don't like this justified thing. Because who's to say that any work is justified? Who's to say that I wasn't put on this planet to put a fucking stick in your day? Like who's to say that didn't happen? Okay, because there is always like a karmic kind of thing everywhere. We're all here for a purpose, and maybe, the people you can't fix are there to be purposefully difficult. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What if what I did to you or what you did to me was justified by the universe, and then you get all pissed off and think, oh well, I'm mad about it, I'm going to go do this. Then obviously whatever gets sent back to you is going to come back to you with whatever you sent it back, because maybe the universe thought that whatever happened was justified in the first place. And because your ego got wounded, you're going to go and be retaliate towards, me or another person. Like, how does that even work? Like, I drove to my house not too long ago and I got a flat tire. Who the fuck did that? Nobody. The universe, right? It just happened. I had like not the greatest outcome from the whole experience, and I was very frustrated. But like, you know, I'm not going to retaliate at it. I just got out of a 12-year relationship where that was just awful. What am I going to do? Do I really want to risk putting myself out there just so I can ensure that the universe is already going to do its job faster? What? Why waste my time, my effort, my money, and my fucking supplies? I'm just gonna, here you go. That was a, you stay over there, I'm gonna stay over here and have fun with whatever you get. You know?
Exactly.
So I don't like this whole idea of purposefully targeting people because they're mad. Because that's really what it comes down to is you got your feelings hurt and now you want to act like magic doesn't have any ramifications. I get frustrated with this for sure. I'm sure somebody will slaughter me for listening to this too, but you know what? I have my opinions, just
Well,
like her.
just before the Q&A, she says the main thing to remember is that when reversal work is done, it will only hit those who justly deserve it. The innocent will not be harmed by the work. How can that be guaranteed?
It can't be.
Exactly.
It can't be. And when you send out vindictive magic, it doesn't. Okay, if I go up to somebody and stab them, justified or not, I have a consequence. Okay, so that's how I'm seeing this magic. This magic is totally 100% vindictive. I'm not okay with vindictive magic. Like, because, if people got away with things like that all day long, we'd live in a pretty screwed up society. But magically or not, and if you piss somebody off the wrong way, you go and you target a witch the wrong way with stuff you think they know nothing about, like they're not gonna notice. what happens when what happens when you combine traditions? So say a hoodoo worker sends something my way, right? I'm not a hoodoo worker. I am a witch. Okay? I'm going to notice and I'm going to send it back, but my stuff is not your stuff, so how are you going to know? Like, how are you going to understand how whatever I sent back to you is? How do you realize that what I'm doing is defensive magic? Because I'm allowed to protect myself against your hostilities. So, I don't know. I'm really having a hard time with the justified work.
All right. Well, yeah, because according to her, as long as you're justified, you're safe.
So, like, for me
right down here.
Right. So for me doing like, freezer spells, those are considered baneful because they're, they stop people's actions. Binding spells, those are all the same types of magic. But in no way, shape, or form are any of those magic things directly purposeful at attacking a human. So, like, if I put you in the freezer, you're stopping whatever the hell you're doing and you're leaving me out of my life. Okay? Okay? That's not me sticking a stake in you to tie you down to one particular thing or to purposely ruin your life. You know what I mean? So, like, this is where I'm having a really hard time, because a lot of this sounds like they're purposely out to try and harm somebody because they were harmed and it was justified for them. But then anybody could be justified in any means, which makes living here kind of scary. But I got it. And then she goes, the Q&A is like, how do I know if I need to keep the reversal going? First off, if you reverse somebody's magic, why do you have to keep it going?
Exactly. That was my question on that. Why do you have to keep it going if you've reversed it?
You just did it. You walk away, you go on with your life. It did itself. You're like, I don't understand. I don't, why would you continue? But do you think it doesn't work? Do you think it needs a certain amount of time? She says here, a few other symptoms that you may be feeling if you need to do reversal work and keep it going. Confusion, sleep too much or sleep too little. That could just be food. Lightheaded could be food. Money blocks. Money blocks I can see. Disaster everywhere you turn. I can see. Sickness that doesn't go away. You feel like someone's watching or sitting on your chest when you're asleep. Dude, that would be horribly terrifying. um, so like 1, 2, 3, we'll just go with P. You feel like people are staring at you. Like 4 out of all of these things are possible indicators that you have some sort of something going on, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're hexed or jinxed or whatever it is they're telling you. What do they say? Jinxed.
Cross. You have cross conditions.
Oh yeah, cross conditions. Then she says, how often can I do a reversal? She says you can do reversal work anytime you feel you have a cross condition. Do you have any idea how because she's so vague on these things here, the lightheadedness, money blocks, all that stuff. So vague. How do you know? So you get a headache one day, or you go 3 days where something happens and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way it is. So then you go and do more work. You have to know before you do a reversal. So let me give you an example. I've dealt with a root worker before with her magic. And it wasn't that I was having bad things happening to me. It was that I wanted to remove any possibility that there was anything going on or sent towards me. So when I left the area where I was first working, I was told that I was her biggest failure. And I attempted to get other locations. So I opened up a second location after leaving this person's shop. And it was good. It was a great location on Loman. It was really pretty. It was perfect size for me at the time. And then I had ran into problems with the landlord. So the landlord wouldn't allow me to decrease the AC in the unit. So like it was super hot in my store. And I kept talking to her over and over and over about it. And then the woman who I had originally been at her shop had sent over, what do I call those? The little lackey people that come, you know, the, groupies. I guess you can call them groupies. Right? So the groupies showed up to check out the new store, right? To see how I was doing. And then I ended up having to leave that shop because I couldn't get the landlord to just do what I asked her to do. And then I moved to a second shop and the groupies showed up again and like they looked. By the time I had gotten there, I was ready to be settled, but I didn't have any money left to run it. So I ended up going out of business. Which was the intention of the other person involved because she didn't want competition. She didn't particularly care for me. So I took all of the things I had ever purchased in her shop because I knew they were all touched by her. And I reversed them. I did a reversal spell. Not hoodoo, just me, to remove her from my existence essentially and send back any kind of attachments or tendrils or whatever the hell she threw herself out at. And I didn't I didn't have any interest in having that connection. So that's what my reversal was for, was to remove if there was anything sent, and then to send it directly back to where it came from, because I knew that was where there were problems coming from, because she made herself very known in my life, which I did notice. There's a lot of hoodoo workers make themselves like, they're not afraid to tell you that they did some shit to you. They're like, oh yeah, they'll let you know, and they follow you around a little bit too, to see how their spells are working, which I don't do. If I send out a spell on somebody, I don't have to say a word. Let's just leave it alone. um, um, she says, will reversal work start a spiritual war? Yes, it absolutely can. She says it won't, but it can, because the person who sent the magic out in the first place is absolutely going to know they're getting it back.
Oh, yeah.
So she goes here, she goes, because you are only returning what has been sent to you. If they were justified in crossing you up, then no reversal in the world is going to harm them. But if they were unjustified, then they are going to get back their own medicine right back into their lap. Think of it as an undeliverable package at the post office and stamp it with return to sender. Did we miss the part that she said that, if you send it back and it was unjust and they end up with a, a face full of bullshit that they sent out themselves, they might be pretty pissed off about the fact that you were um, able to reverse their own magic, especially if they're not in the same culture. So that makes them even more mad, because then they go, oh, well, shit, I was identified. And then she says, how do I keep cross conditions off me? Crystals. She says here, the way to keep folks from being able to cross you up is to keep your protections up. All you also need to set up routine cleansings and reversals. So, okay, so now she's saying that you have to do reversals all the fucking time. Like, it's something you do all the time. Well, how do you know? You have to know if you're reversing ill magic. You can't just, oh, well, I'm going to do a reversal today just in case. That's just how it seems. It's like, what the fuck? I know, right? Like, fuck. I mean, for a store owner, I got your candles, I got your herbs, but I don't know why you didn't do this 50 million times. I only use magic when it's absolutely necessary. I do not use magic all the damn time. I do dance around my space, and I do light some Palo Santo. Sometimes I light some sage to kind of amp up the energy in my space, but that's not the same thing as casting spells. So I don't know. um, Now we're going to get into what is justified work. Justified work is going to be whatever anybody's ethics are. Because again, we have 8 million ethics and 8 million ways to apply your ethics. So if your ethics aren't the same as your neighbor's ethics, then guess what? What's justified for them is not the same for you. So I don't even want to read this section. Because everything is malleable, and it's all on whose hurt feelings is whose. That's just how it is. But she gives a few examples, like harming children, battered women, like certain things. But she says, do not throw at someone because they pissed you off. Do you know how many people do that? Do you know how many people justify that work? Tons. Because if you do and they do a reversal, then you will get hit with your own work plus theirs. Like my daughter says, use your thinker, not your stinker. That's so adorable. That's an adorable saying. It says meaning don't be an ass, think before you react. Always be smarter and work with a cool head. Well, that's an ethical thing too, because again, ethics are different. Some people practice magic when they're roaring pissed because it has a lot of energy behind it. You know,
Yep.
some people don't even believe in energy work. They're like, what the fuck is energy? I don't believe in that. I can't see it. You know, we know that there's energy everywhere, but some people just don't give a shit. So it just depends. Then she talks about colors for reversals. So black, white, green, black, red, or orange, and black. How many times are you gonna say black? One, two, three,
Oh,
four.
no, the colors would be a black and white candle, or a green and black candle, or a black and
Black and
red
red or
candle.
orange and black. Okay.
Hmm.
I messed it up. She's most people think that black and white candles is the best candle to use for cross conditions. The red and black are for love jinxes. The green and black are for money blocks. The orange and blacks are for bringing change. I would use orange for justice. So, but that's just me. She says I personally prefer the black and red one for all my reversal work. Why?
She just
But she
says
says the
because
red
it
and black
always
is,
works well for her.
huh?
She says it always works well for her.
But
The other
she
colors
just
are
said
hard to
that
find.
the red and the black were for love jinxes, so that means that she has a lot of problems with love. I mean, logically, this is the red and black one only works well for me. The other colors are hard to find. No, they're not. But I know you might not like Walmart, bro, but there are every color candle in Walmart, okay? You can find them all over the place. Or go to the mall to the store that smells like the Yankee Candle place, and you can find a shitload of colored candles in there too. They're not difficult to find. I sell them. Hard to find. But you can find red and black ones almost anywhere. She really said that it's hard to find white candles. White candles are like the most popular candle out there.
No, she's
And
saying a candle that's black and white together.
together?
Not a black candle and a white candle, but a candle that has got black and white together.
Oh, those have to be made.
That's what she's talking about.
Am I missing that? I didn't see that in there.
Reversal work is usually done with a candle that has two different colors. One candle with two colors.
Oh, okay. Well, I assumed that it was just two different colored candles.
No.
Because you could do that too. Um, now the ones that have the different colors, actually that's a good idea. They have, yeah, you would have a hard time finding the two colored candles. Those have to be handmade. They're not popular. um, She says the black in the candle pulls off anything that doesn't belong under spirit, and the red represents the blood. If you Then how does it love jinxes? Why is it love jinxes? Why did she label it that?
I don't know.
If you want to bring about changes within your life, then you need to work with an orange and black stick candle. Orange is powerful because it draws um because it draws and gives you control. You should always do what feels right for you. Oh my god. Okay, it's official. We don't have to do anything that this lady says. Because if it doesn't feel right to you, then you shouldn't do it. Oh my god. If you're not sure about where to start with reversal, then I highly recommend using a red and black stick candle. I don't understand the red. There's no passion in this. unless you're using the red to as your passion to reverse the spell. But it should be a white and black candle, my personal opinion, because
Mm-hmm.
one's protection and one's neutral.
I agree.
And then she talks a little bit about old school reversal work. Where's it? You need a black stick candle. You place a black stick candle at the crown of your head and then start to wipe yourself down and go all the way to your feet. Then you wipe from heel to toe. Always remember to wipe your head, the back of your neck, your shoulders, chest, hands, and feet thoroughly with the black candle. I would love to see. Is this lit, by the way?
I don't
Like,
think so.
I hope not. Like, because this would be terrifying. You can end up crossing yourself up with like flames in your hair. So as you're wiping yourself down, pray in your higher power that all blocks in your life are immediately removed and returned to sender. Pray that justice is served and get a taste of your own medicine.
You don't light it until you're through doing all the washing down and all that. Then you light it. You dress it with the oil, and then you
And
light
then
the
lit the
candle.
candle. Okay, all right, okay. So you're having the candle be okay. That makes sense. Because lighting the candle and then doing that would be kind of scary. I guess that's where the red comes from. She says, pray for success, love, and happiness. And then it says, to destroy another worker throwing roots on you, use the whole chapter of Isaiah to defeat them. That's a pretty big chapter. The whole chapter of Isaiah?
Chapter 47. Chapter 47 of Isaiah.
Yeah, in the Bible. That's
Not the whole
pretty,
book
I think.
Isaiah, but just chapter 47 of Isaiah.
Okay. It cancels out any works done in your name and binds them so they cannot use divination or spirits to see you. Tear out chapter 47, write all my enemies on it, and load it into a doll baby. Isaiah 7 works like a triple-edged sword because it crosses them up with their own work, where your enemies can't uncross themselves nor have anyone help them. It also stops them and anyone else helping them from putting curses on you. Dude, you're writing a perfectly good book by ripping
Mm-hmm.
out the pages.
Mm-hmm.
What about the other stuff that's written behind those pages? Like
Exactly.
there's more than just that little chapter there. What if something on the back of the page contradicts the other pages? Then you're fucked. I don't know. And Alicia did this once, the coffee bath to remove blocks that hold you back. But these are like tools again. You got the coffee bath for removing blocks, the red onion reversal. This one's for wait, it says red onion reversal, and then it says it can draw love, money, and prosperity. If it's a reversal tool, why is it a drawing tool? I
Well, read
hate
the
the
rest of it.
contradiction.
But it is also bitter, which makes it good for cleansing and uncrossing.
Red
It
onions
can
are
work
really
either
good for
way.
the bottom. Right, red onions are really good for the bottom of your feet. Cut them up, stick them on the bottom of your feet, then put socks on and go to bed. It will draw the toxins out of your body. That is how you should use an onion, aside from eating it. Um, she says this will help stop all the fussing and arguing because the onion is considered bitter and it will pull away negative energy. Sorry. It can be worked to sweeten your relationship. I'm not sure. I'm not sure an onion is going to sweeten anything. It stinks. Killing two birds with one stone. There was another one in here. the gunpowder. Used with frankincense and myrrh. Probably because frankincense and myrrh was given as gifts to baby Jesus.
Mhm.
It's just to add power to the work and to bless the home. Tear off 5 small pieces of broom straw from a broom. Add the straws to the onion to keep the devils out of your home. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I guess that book, Spirit Hacking, has really fucked me up on the whole idea of devil. I no longer see the devil as a person. That's the thing. So to keep the devils out would be to literally restrict yourself from things of pleasure. So, but then your relationship wouldn't be all hunky dory if you're restricting pleasures.
Mhm.
And then it goes on the altar too. Place a bowl on your love altar. You will be making a cross set up with using white tea light candles, and you will place a tea light on top of your work. You need to call on the Trinity and your ancestors. Then, one at a time, pick up the candle and pray your petition to it 3 times. By doing that, you're locking the work down. This way the work can't be undone. Okay, everything can be undone. I don't know why people do that. You can't say it won't be undone. It's everything is undoable. Like the tree that's 8 million feet tall with 8 million feet roots still falls down in the forest. You know. So basically the end of this is just different types of just a couple of different types of ways that you can do uncrossings or removals and then bringing things to you. And it's still all pretty vague because there's so many things that you could apply your magic to. And when people are writing books, they really need to consider the fact that there is an endless amount of ways to apply magic. And I don't understand why they're only picking like the generic forms of practicing magic.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not sure what the last chapter was trying to hint at. Like, did you get anything other than her trying to pull a little bit of history there?
That's all I got. She's trying to pull some
Because
history in.
it's not. I don't even understand the title of the chapter
I
because
know.
it doesn't seem to work with what she wrote here. And she brings in the Indians and other people. I don't. Maybe it's just her way of connecting the. Because she does say that, they were forced to read the Bible. So in response, there was an absorption of the Bible into a personal practice. Then she also makes note to mention that there is a distinct difference between hoodoo Christians and regular Christians. A very distinct difference because obviously the hoodoo Christians are the ones who don't have a problem sticking a pen in your eye when they need to. And the, the other ones are like, let me pray for you. I can't do it anymore. I'm so glad this book is over. I don't know. I don't want to do it. This book has just been not what I expected. Not at all. What about you? Do you think the same thing?
Mhm.
I am
Not quite what I
completely
thought it would be.
No, I really thought I was going to get like some really cool history lessons
Mhm.
and some legitimate stuff, and I feel like I was robbed. I was a little robbed by this book. I hope the next book's better. Do you have the next book yet?
Yes. Right here.
Yay. I'm looking forward to reading that one. That one should be way more interesting than this one. But yeah, it was just us today. I wonder what
Yeah.
everybody else was probably like, fuck this book. I'll get on the next one.
Yep.
We're over here religious to the book club with our shitty books too. Oh, I'm sorry.
So what are we going to read in this next book first?
Huh?
What are we going to read? What are we going to start with?
Oh, how big are the chapters? Well, not all the chapters, but the first couple of chapters. How big are they?
Well, not like for chapter 1's probably 25 pages.
Do you want to read 1 and 2? Or is that too much?
We should probably do the introduction in chapter 1.
Okay. Let's do that then. Intro in chapter 1.
Because in chapter 1 there are exercises.
Ooh, what kind of exercises?
That's what I'm going over to see right now. Preliminary focus. This is the first vital exercise to master before moving on. This is the ability to keep your mind entirely focused on one mental task. Affirm to yourself out loud or in your head that when you reach the number 0, you will be in the alpha brainwave state of consciousness. Proceed by counting down from the number 100 to 0.
Now, in this book, is there going to be any things we can do for exercise wise for like a fun day in the book club?
I don't know. Well, here's exercise 2 is called psychic immersion, and it's in chapter 1 also. Let's see. I want you to pick a day to pretend that you are an all-knowing and always accurate psychic. Conjure up examples of the all-knowing psychic archetype, such as a mysterious fortune teller or the witch who sees all and knows all. Immerse yourself in the role just as a child would when playing make-believe with friends or alone to entertain themselves. Pretend you can see auras what would those auras look like on different people, that sort of thing. And then it comes down to, you can practice with a friend as well. In my workshops, I will have strangers partner up, and they'll take turns pretending they're psychic and will proceed to start making up a bunch of information about the person they're paired with. Who are they? What's their story? Where do they come from? What do they want out of life? What are their hopes and fears?
This should be interesting. So maybe we can do some activities. Oh. So it looks like we're going to have homework to do.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm done with some homework. I posted that one picture on Facebook of the store. It got shared like 3 times, and there's like 90 people who liked it. I guess so. The new way the store looks now is good. So yeah, let's
I
go with
haven't
the
been
intro.
on Facebook, so I'll get on there and share it too.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate you. So chapter 1 and the intro is what we're gonna focus on for next week.
I'm gonna go ahead
I'm
and put the forward down too.
Oh yeah.
The forward's like 3 pages,
Okay.
3 or 4 pages, and then it goes to the introduction.
Yeah, I gotta get the book tonight. Oh man. And then I have to like pick a day where I'm gonna start being consistent with posting on Facebook because like I really can't stand doing that all the time. And I realized something, like I was gonna go ahead and post those herbal things. I love to post those herb things that I've been posting. Every single time that I post one on Facebook, they take one of my products off my store. Because I'm teaching people about the plants and the properties of plants. And then they go, oh, well, that means your plants are for health related stuff. And then they take my stuff down and I can't sell them via Facebook. So I'm stuck not sharing those. I'd have to do those via email instead, which is really frustrating to me because I wanted it to be open knowledge. But Facebook found a way to screw me over. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't super matter because I haven't really gotten a whole lot of people come through. I mean, they click on my products, but then if they click on my products through the thing, then they remove my links from Facebook so that they can't connect from Facebook to my website. I'd have to put all my own links in there for the web. And it's frustrating to me because like that's not fair.
No, it's not.
So I have to stop doing. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing the plant post, because every single time that I would put one up, they would take my products off and tell me that I violated some fucking rule. I was like, I thought that fucking information was free, bitch. you know. Mm-hmm.
What if someone else put the stuff up about the herbs? Would that mess with your link?
Um, if my products are tagged in them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to find a workaround, but they're like super. That's why you don't see a lot of things posted on Facebook that are handmade. Things like lotions and stuff like that are all handmade. They don't like that kind of stuff on Facebook. So almost everything in my store is anti-Facebook, except for the incense. You know what I mean? Um, so I mean, I could probably get away with the soaps, but God forbid I put the herbal soaps up, then I'll have the same problem. So I'm trying to find a way to share stuff that keeps people interacted, but doesn't have them removing my shit off of my Facebook store
Oh,
because
I
I don't want to
posted
fight.
on one of my other author pages that I'm on had posted she wanted to see something that we enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So I posted that picture I had of my new teacup with my pretty red tea in it, with the bag sitting there. And someone asked me what kind of tea it was and how I got it, so I put it on there.
Well, thank you. I know that stuff is good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I really like it. I still think the lemon ginger is better, but I made a lemon ginger honey, which should be up online soon. They're honey extracts, so I'm starting to make those and add those to the store too. I'm still working on updating the website for the new stuff, but I will be putting up my tinctures. I'll be putting up my honeys. I'll be putting up my other stuff. I just made a bunch of rose water.
You have lemon ginger or ginger lemon tea?
Lemon ginger tea, I sure do.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get some.
It's really good. It's
for
really
a little
good.
problem I have. It's supposed to be good for what ails me.
Okay. Do you want the honey or do you want the actual tea?
Both.
Okay.
I'll get both.
Okay.
Can I have the last Powerade?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Oh, I'm
book
almost
club
done.
over?
Almost done.